No user has said that they enjoy a slow website. Everybody loves fast websites. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to improve the performance of your website tip by tip. And I have more than 20, so let's begin. So before you go out and implement the changes on your website, which I'm going to mention, you need to have some benchmark numbers so you can measure the improvements that you're going to gain while implementing this video. So how do you measure the performance of your website? By using this free tool. It's called IsItWP's free website speed testing tool for WordPress. I'll leave a link down in the description, and also you can Google the term IsItWP speed tool and you'll reach this page. Now I just entered wbeginner.com and click analyze, and you can see here all the data that this free tool will fetch for you. The homepage of the site, the page load time, the performance grade, or the title of the page size, requests. These are just the basic numbers. But if you scroll down, you'll see all the important technical data as well, which is important. And the best part is that whatever metrics are in the green are already optimized to a very large degree. So if your website is coming up in green, then that means it's already optimized on those parameters. You can see the FCP, the LCP, the total blocking time, speed index, all that technical stuff, which is important, is here. You can also look at diagnostics, opportunities, and also all the miscellaneous information here. And you can see WBeginner is already very, very optimized, except for a couple of things which are, well, uncontrollable because we have a lot of elements on the page. Otherwise, WBeginner is very, very optimized. And you also see a flowing chart of how the elements are loaded, so you can understand and visualize what pages are taking the most, let's say, the bandwidth and how much time they're taking to load up on the screen, and it will help you optimize and implement the changes I'm going to mention later in this video. So go check out this tool, analyze your website, and once you implement the changes I'm going to tell you, then you can come back to this tool again and refresh the changes and understand how much of an improvement your website has gotten, and you can leave those improvements in the comments for everybody to see. Alright, let's begin with the improvements. So the first absolute thing you should do on your website to improve its performance is enabling caching on your website. What is caching? Let me explain that while also giving you the recommendation on how to implement caching on your website. To implement caching on your website, you should install WP Super Cache. This is a fantastic plugin that will enable caching on your website. Now, what is caching? Your website pages are made up of code, images, all different data, which has to be created in real time by fetching all the information from the database. So server has to work hard to individually request those pages for each of your visitors. Caching is the process where a copy of this page is made even before your visitor actually visits your website. So instead of working hard on creating these pages in real time, the copy is used to serve those visitors. And caching is the process where the copy is created. And by installing this plugin, the caching process will be taken over by this plugin and will create a copy of all your pages and posts and all other data on your website so that your servers doesn't have to work hard on serving those visitors that come to your website. It's a fantastic process. It's a must-have. This is a fantastic plugin. You can look at the ratings here. Now, one thing to remember is that your hosting provider might already enable caching on your website. For example, if you're using Bluehost, you can go into your account, go into your website section, and inside the website section, you can go and check out the speed section. If caching control is on, and Bluehost is already optimizing your website for you, you might not need that plugin. And technically, having two different caching plugins can cause conflicts. Similarly, we recommend Hostinger to you as well. Inside Hostinger, you can go into your admin area and check out if caching is enabled. And if caching is enabled, you're already done with the first step. Let's talk about the next step to improve the performance of your website. The next thing you need to do to improve your website's performance is optimize your images. Let me give you a practical example. Here are two images that I've uploaded to my WordPress website. This is the first one, this is the second one. They look absolutely identical, but there's a big difference. This is the first image, it is 531 kilobytes. And this is the second image, it's just 175 kilobytes. That's a 3x difference on the size of these images, which look identical on the screen. And this is what happens. You don't optimize your images and your website bogs down because so many images, that means so many resources have to be used for every single visitor that visits your website. So what's the solution? You need to optimize your images either before you upload them or have solutions on your website which optimize your images while they are being uploaded. Let me give you examples on how you can achieve both of those. First, what you can do is try out JPG Mini. This is a desktop application that you need to install on your computer, and then you can optimize your images with this tool. It offers a 14-day free trial and it's very affordable if you want to use it for unlimited images and videos. But the drawback is you'll need to do that manually. Another option is XN Convert, which is a bulk image converter and optimizer. It's free for personal use. You need to pay a license fee for commercial usage. And the third option, which is my favorite, is the EWWW image optimizer. That's a mouthful to say. Yes, install the EWWW image optimizer plugin on your WordPress website, and as soon as you upload your images, it'll compress the image, reduce the resolution, and perform all the optimizations needed to optimize the images on your website. Now, we've done a dedicated video on image SEO, and inside that video, I've covered how to set this plugin up. So I recommend that once you watch this video, you can go watch that video next to understand how to actually install and configure EWWW image optimizer on your website. Don't worry, you'll thank me later for following that tutorial. Your website will see a massive performance improvement by just optimizing images. On to the next step. The next thing you should be doing on your website is updating to the latest version of WordPress whenever a new update comes out. Example here is on the screen. This is an old website which uses WordPress 6.3.1, and at the date of this recording, the latest version of WordPress is actually 6.4.2. If you're like this, you're missing out on performance improvement, bug fixes, and even new features in WordPress. So whenever a new version of WordPress comes out, make sure your plugins and themes are compatible, and whenever you have the opportunity, just click this blue button right here and the installation process will begin. Make sure to back up your website just in case. Most of the time nothing happens, but a backup is always good to have. So make sure to have a backup, and whenever you see WordPress updates, update to the latest version, and your website performance will thank you and your visitors will have a better experience. On to the next step. The next thing you should be doing on your website to manage and improve performance is check the performance of your background processes. Let me explain what that means. Now, you might be just looking at your website from the backend just like this and thinking nothing is happening. But behind the scenes, many processes might be running, which might cause a slowdown of your website. These processes can include backups, optimizations, heartbeat related features, live updates, dashboards, all that good stuff. Now, some of these might be useful, but what we need to ensure is that all these processes are running at the right frequency. For example, if you just post content once a week, your website is getting updated once a week. But if you are backing up your website once every day, you're wasting resources. So what you need to ensure is that all your plugins that use any kind of background processes have their frequencies tuned to how you use your website. So ensure that backups are running at the frequency you update your website. Any kind of dashboards and things that actually use system resources in the background are optimized for your use case, and your website and your visitors will thank you for it because it will have a massive impact on your website's performance once configured right. On to the next step. The next optimization you should be performing is on your homepage. Your homepage is one of the most visited pages on your website. And what a lot of people do, or mistakes that they do, is they load the homepage with a lot of content. Tons of blog posts, images, all sorts of widgets, which is good for users, but if they can't even load the page in the first place, that's going to be a problem. So what you should do is limit the homepage to only the information that is necessary so that the performance of your website is not affected. Let me give you a practical example. This is a website which displays all the latest blog posts on the website, which is a good thing. But one good thing that this has done is that they have used excerpts on the pages rather than the full post. What lots of website owners do is make this mistake. Inside the WordPress reading settings, they set the blog pages to the maximum number they can find, and also in each blog post feed settings, they include the full text. So if they have 100 blog posts on the site, all of these 100 blog posts are being loaded on the site, and not only the excerpt, the full blog post is being loaded. No wonder their websites become slow. So what you should be doing is going to this page and making sure that if you're using a latest post page, then limit the number of posts to maybe 10. That is more than enough. And also show the excerpt. A better way or better approach would be to just use a static page so that can be cached by your website, and then the performance of your website will not be affected. So if you're using your latest post, limit the number of blog posts and also use an excerpt. And if you're using a static homepage, just have a static homepage and enable caching, and your website performance will be amazing. All right, on to the next step. The next thing you should optimize on your website is how comment pagination works. Let me explain. If you go into the settings of the comments, that is settings, discussion, you'll find this settings, which is usually disabled by default. Now, what this means is that if your website is lucky enough to have hundreds of comments, all of them will be loaded on the same page. And similar to how I explained in the homepage example, the previous example, how this can cause slowdowns on your website, the similar thing here can cause slowdowns of your website if you have hundreds and even thousands of comments. Here's how to fix it. Just enable this option and make this a reasonable number. Usually 50 is fine, but if you have too many comments, you can set this to 20. And what this will do is take the 20 comments, in this case, because I've set this to 20, and keep them paginated. So on one page, users will see first top 20 comments, and they'll click to the next button, page number 2, page number 3, to see the rest of the comments. So all the comments on those pages will not be loaded because you have set pagination on. That means saving system resources. That means faster performance for pages. That means your website. On to the next step. The next thing you should do that will improve your website's performance by a multifold is use a CDN or a content delivery network. Now, what the heck is a CDN? Let me explain. The easiest way I can explain CDNs to you is using an analogy. Think of your website as Walmart. Now, inside all of America, if you just had one Walmart which sells everything, how would that go? All the users will have to travel to that place and then make the purchase, and the large amount of traffic on that single store might collapse the store. And that can happen to your website. Since your website is located on just one physical server, any unexpected bump in traffic might cause it to crash. So what a CDN does is what Walmart does. It opens up multiple locations in sometimes one city, in one town, in one state. So what users do is find the Walmart that is closest to them. So the entire traffic of Walmart is distributed amongst all the stores. So this is what happens when you use a CDN on your website. What a CDN does is take the website's content that you have, caches it, and puts it on different servers throughout the world. So it distributes all the load that you have on your website, gives your users a great experience and also a very, very fast experience. So definitely use a CDN. And one of the best CDNs that we recommend that you use on your website, which is very affordable, is Bunny CDN. They support images, all sorts of caching, and even video CDN and video streaming. So go check it out. We'll link Bunny CDN in the description of this video. Go sign up. The next optimization you should be doing on your website has to do with video. As you already know, you can upload images to your website. I already demonstrated that, right? You see these images, and if you want to upload an image on your website, all you have to do is drag and drop it here, and the image is uploaded in just a few seconds. But what people do many times when they don't know what to do is they do this. They take entire videos and upload them directly to their websites. Look at this video. It's 220 megabytes. Now, saying that this video will slow down your website by a lot is an understatement because it's a massive, massive video. And whatever hosting services that you use, they're not optimized to stream videos. That's the bigger problem. So if you want to upload videos to your site, which is completely natural, you have few options. You can either upload them to YouTube and then embed them on your website, which is absolutely easy, or you can use some other service which you prefer. Now, if you want to keep your videos a secret or they are very private, you don't want to upload them on any public platform, Bunny CDN, which I mentioned in the previous example or previous tip already, they have a streaming service as well. So if you want your videos to be private, upload them or sign up for bunny.net's streaming service, and you can upload all sorts of videos here and they'll stream the videos for you. All you have to do is connect your website to Bunny Stream, and then you'll have private videos coming up to your site. So never upload videos directly to your site. Always use an external service or use the CDN provided at Bunny CDN, and you can stream videos or stream endless videos on your website without sacrificing performance. On to the next step. The next thing you should do on your website to ensure amazing performance is choose a very, very good theme. A theme can make or break your website's performance. So make sure to choose a theme that has great performance, great features, security, regular updates, and all that good stuff. Here are some recommendations that you can follow. The first theme that we can recommend is the Astra theme. It's fantastic. It's one of the most popular themes on WordPress repository, and it's free to get started with. The second theme you can recommend is by CSS Igniter. They have a collection of themes and they make some amazing themes when it comes to performance. The third recommendation we can give you is from Themify. They also have some amazing themes and plugins. You can go and check it out, and whatever themes you can purchase or get from them will be high performing. And the fourth recommendation I have is a little different. If you have any sort of design skills or you want complete control over how you want your website to look like, then what you can do is just go ahead and purchase Seedplot. Now, Seedplot is not a theme. It's actually a theme builder. And what it will allow you to do is import a blank theme and customize everything on your website. Now, you will need some design skills, but Seedplot also has templates. So you get a template kit that will include all the pages, and then you can just set and customize your colors, your themes, or some of the things on your website while you'll have amazing performance. So Seedplot gives you the best of both worlds. Not only do you get amazing performance, but you can customize your website to your heart's desire. You can customize WooCommerce pages, your pages, posts, depends, and create different pages for individual categories. It's amazing how much this plugin can do. And we've done many tutorials on our channel regarding Seedplot and how it can change the way you actually build websites. So go check them out after this video. But Seedplot is amazing, but you can also use other themes if you're not adventurous and don't want to customize your theme to a large degree. On to the next step. The next thing you should ensure on your website for amazing super fast performance is use faster plugins. Now on WP Beginner, we have over 70 plugins installed. So it's not the quantity of plugins that matter, it's the quality of plugins that matter. We did a dedicated video about this and we'll place that somewhere on the screen. So if you ensure that you have high quality plugins, you can install multiple plugins, even 50 plugins, and your website will not take hit when it comes to performance. So if you're deciding to building forms on your website, use a plugin like WP Forms. It's highly optimized. And if you want to have analytics on your site, use Monster Insights. If you want to have a great SEO features on your site, use all-in-one SEO. And if you want to create landing pages, use SeedCloud. All of these plugins are free to get started with and they are optimized for performance. And one of the best things you can do on your website is install WP Code. And it'll give you tens of different features without installing separate plugins, because it provides code snippets that can do most of the heavy lifting for you and not take any hit on your website's performance when you do that. And if you want to check out sometimes that, hey, how do I ensure what plugin is actually good? Go check out the developer who makes the plugin. Usually highly reputed developers optimize their plugins for speed. And you can also go here and look at the ratings, how frequently the plugin is updated, when was last updated, and see also here and see the forum if the queries regarding the plugin are being answered and it's up to date regarding the WordPress versions and when it's compatible with. There are several other factors, so this is not a complete, let's say, a rule book to judging a plugin, but based on this information, you can make a reasonable call that, hey, this plugin is made by a good developer, they regularly updated, so it will be good. You can definitely check out the before and after performance hit after installing a plugin, but that's up to you. If you use high quality plugins made by reputed developers, most of the time you are good to go. And I already gave you some of my best recommendations that you can install. And if you have any other questions about, hey, what plugin should I use for this? Just leave a comment and I'll answer that quickly. On to the next step. The next way you might be negatively affecting your website performance is by creating good content. Let me explain. So let's say, for example, you want to give your users the best information possible. So you wrote this blog post, which is amazing, right? But if you scroll through the blog post, it goes on and on and on and doesn't finish. Now, since the blog post is this big, that means more time required to load the blog post. And also it can be overwhelming to users to consume this much information in one go. So how do we fix that? We fix that by using something called page breaks inside WordPress. So go back to the post where you think appropriate amount of content has been put on the website or on the page. Just go here, add a new block on the page. I use the keyboard to add it. So I'll type in /PAGE page break. Just do it and click update. And once you do, this page will be divided into multiple parts. It's also called pagination on the website. So if we go here, if we click refresh the page, we can scroll up and you'll see it's a very short blog post, and then you can click the next button to load the rest of the blog post. Now, since this is a massive blog post, you might need to do it a few different times. So scroll to somewhere that you think is, hey, reasonable amount of content is already on the screen. Then you can go here, and what you can do is do this again. So I'll just do this page break once again. I'll update the post, and once the post is updated, I'll go here and refresh the page. And now this is page number 2, and now it's a small and manageable blog post. That means faster performance, and then users can also have a good experience on your website. So that's one way to reduce the performance or reduce the time it takes for pages to load, and also give users a better experience. Pagination, very simple to do. On to the next step. The next step in improving your website's performance is to reduce the number of HTTP calls and database calls. Now, whenever your website loads, a lot of external services have to be connected. Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel, Facebook Like Counter, and tons of calls have to be made to your database to fetch the right information, which can slow down your website. Your job is to reduce the number of calls it takes for your page to be constructed fully. Now, doing this technically or doing this yourself, managing everything, fine-tuning yourself might be tricky and not recommended for beginners, but it's absolutely essential to do so. So the solution is to actually use a plugin designed for this. And the plugin that we recommend for this, which is called optimization of your website, is WP Rocket. Now, WP Rocket is also a caching plugin. So if you're already using a caching plugin, then you can replace it with WP Rocket. And what WP Rocket does, it does all the sorts of optimizations for your website. It'll reduce the number of HTTP calls, it's minimize the code on your website, reduce the number of database calls, and ensure that optimize or your website is completely optimized for performance. And WP Rocket has a stellar reputation when it comes to optimization. So you can close your eyes and have blind faith on WP Rocket's performance gains and how they work. So check out WP Rocket. It's not free, but it's a great investment in the performance of your website, which means happier customers. So definitely check it out and we'll move on to the next tip. The next thing you should do to improve your website's performance is take out the trash. Let me explain. When you're using your website will essentially or over time generate a lot of trash. Now, what is that trash? That means post revisions, unused tags, random comments, a lot of spam, and all that trash needs to be taken out regularly to ensure that your website performance is great. And the plugin that we recommend to do that is called WP Sweep. It's a highly rated plugin and it'll clean up all of this data for you. So revisions, auto drafts, deleted comments, unapproved comments, spam comments, deleted comments, often metadata, and tons of other stuff. All of this will just have a negative performance of your website. So once you use WP Sweep, clean out all the junk, your website will start fresh and have better performance. So definitely check out WP Sweep. I'll link it in the description of this video, and on to the next step. The next thing you should be doing on your website to improve performance is limit post revisions. Let me explain. So on this blog post that I demonstrated earlier, if I make one change, what's going to happen? I'll just make one change, one letter, and update the post. You might think that, hey, I just made one change, so nothing has changed. At least from a performance perspective, nothing has changed. But here's what happens. WordPress saves an entire copy of this blog post so that you can revert to it later. Doesn't matter how many changes you made to the blog post, an entire copy of that is actually saved on your website. Now imagine this, you take this blog post and you make 100 changes to it over a period of, let's say, a month. So 100 copies of this blog post will be saved on your server. And think about hundreds of different blog posts and hundreds of copies. That means hundreds of thousands of copies of content that is not even present on your website. That's why you need to limit the number of revisions WordPress saves for your blog post. And here's how to do it. First, you need to install a plugin called WP Code. It's free, so you go to the plugin section, go to install plugins or add new plugin, find WP Code. It's already installed on my site. Here it is. We'll add a new code snippet on our site, which will limit the number of post revisions. We'll go to add snippet. And once the menu opens, we'll say, hey, create new custom snippet. And then we'll go to this URL. I'll place the URL on the screen as well. This is a code that you can add to your site. Don't worry, it's completely safe. It's from WP Code's website that you can copy and paste to your site, which will limit the number of post revisions. So all you have to do is copy this, go back to the site and just paste this here. Make sure it's done or set to PHP. Just paste it once again just to be sure. And once this is done, we'll activate this plugin or activate this code snippet, and then we can save the snippet. Once the snippet is saved, you'll see this confirmation. You can even name the snippet. So I'll just say limit post revisions and update the post. And this way we are limiting the number of post revisions to actually 20. But what you can do is just say, hey, 5. So whatever number you want to keep the revisions for is this number you can confirm here, and then click update, and WordPress will ensure that only that number of revisions are actually saved. 20 is a healthy number, 5 is even better. So decide for yourself what is an appropriate number for your website, but ensure that you do this on your website. Otherwise, you'll have big performance problems, especially when you increase the amount of content that you have on your site. On to the next step. The next thing you should do on your website to ensure amazing performance is disable hot linking, which is like stealing from your website. Let me explain. So let me just demonstrate what hot linking is first so you can understand the implications of not doing this step. So this is a simple blog post, and if you want to add images to your site, you already know how to do it. Just add the image block. But in the image block, you have one option that is very unused, I'd say, insert from URL. So what I did was I went to unsplash.com, which is a source for free images. I found this image, and instead of downloading the image, I actually opened up the image in a new tab, which means the URL is coming from unsplash.com still. Instead of copying the image, I'll copy the URL and then go back to my website, insert this image from URL and enter. Now the image will be visible here, and most people would assume that, hey, WordPress will just download the image and update it, right? Well, that's not what happens. So let me update the post, and I'll open the post in a new tab, and I'll show you what happens. If I open the source of this image, you'll clearly see that this image is actually coming from unsplash.com. That means this image is visible here, but the image is being hosted still by unsplash.com. Now, the implications of this hot linking on your website can be huge. If you have a lot of images on your site and somebody just copies the URLs and posts them on their website, you are the ones hosting the bill or paying the bill for all these image hosting, and your server is busy serving those images while your visitors don't get the resources they deserve to be served by your server. So this is why hot linking has to be disabled, and it's one of the very first basic things that you should do on your website. Now, technically disabling hot listing is a technical process. It requires you to edit your htaccess file and also edit a piece of code or add a piece of code to your htaccess file, but I'll make it absolutely simple for you. Just 2 steps required. So first, go to your website and ensure that you have all-in-one SEO, the plugin installed. So go here, and inside the plugins menu, just add all-in-one SEO. I already have it installed. You can type in AIO SEO and you'll find the plugin. I already mentioned this plugin a few times. It's a fantastic SEO plugin. Then go to this blog post that I'll link down in the description. And this is a piece of code you have to copy and paste it in the htaccess editor inside all-in-one SEO. So just copy this piece of code. I'll press Ctrl+C on my keyboard. Go here, go to AIO SEO and go to the tools section. So inside tools, just click, let's open it. Inside the tools, you have multiple options. We are interested in the htaccess editor. So I click on it and you see this is the htaccess file. So all I have to do is just paste the code after making a gap. So I'll just press enter a couple of times, paste the piece of code here, and this is done. Once this is done, it looks fantastic. I'll just click save changes, and once that is done, hot linking will be disabled. So anytime somebody tries to copy the URL on your website or copy the URL of your images and upload them directly to your other site, they will not be served the images, because this code will ensure that other websites cannot actually leech on your content. So it's an absolutely important step. Do this as soon as possible. And I've just made it absolutely easy for you using all-in-one SEO and the code snippet I already shared with you. On to the next step. The next thing you should do on your website to ensure excellent performance is get a security plugin. Now, why a security plugin? Because it's obvious. If your website is hacked, the performance of your website is going to go down if your website exists in the first place. And a lot of hackers, bad bots, and all the malicious things on the internet try to take all the resources. They try to access your website frequently, take all the resources and all the resources that are meant for your visitors. By using a great security plugin, you can limit and kick off all those bots, bad behaviors, and all that malicious users who want to take advantage of your website. So one of the best security plugins that we personally use on WBeginner is Sucuri. So once you install Sucuri and configure the basic settings of Sucuri, anytime there's any kind of suspicious behavior on your site, let's say a user is trying to access too many pages at once, which a human can't, but a bot can, it'll automatically kicked off. And if somebody's tried to break into your website, all the security things are already hardened. So not only do you get peace of mind, your website will be free of malware attacks, virus attacks, and all the other security threats that you have, but all the resources on your website will be dedicated to serving your visitors. It's a fantastic investment into security and also the performance of your website. On to the next step. The next thing you should do on your website, which is absolutely critical for good performance, is have the latest version of PHP that WordPress supports. PHP is the language in which WordPress is written in, and more language updates, that means faster performance, bug fixes, and more features that WordPress can perform at the highest level possible. Now, every technical support team of every hosting provider has a different process of updating WordPress and updating PHP, but let me demonstrate how you would do it on Bluehost. So inside my Bluehost admin area, I'll go to the website section, and this is the website we'll be working with. I'll just go to settings option. And inside settings, there are many tabs here. Now, technically, you can already see the PHP version here, 8.2. It is already at the latest version, which is great. But let's say if it was 7 something, which is an old version, how would you update that? First, you can go click here, but it'll take you to settings anyway. So let me just click the change button and take you to settings and just scroll it yourself or scroll the website down to this option, which is the PHP version. If you want to change the PHP version, click change and you'll be presented with all the PHP versions available. Now, there are many sites that might be on 5.6 and 7. They're missing out on tons of performance improvements, security benefits, and all that good features. So make sure that you are at the latest version, 8.2. At the date of this recording, 8.2 is completely supported by WordPress. So ensure that you are on the latest version. Once you do that, you can just click the change button and the implementation process will begin. And it just takes a few minutes of time and the PHP version of your website will be upgraded and you'll enjoy better performance. All right, that's all the tips I have for you today to improve your website's performance. Do you like this video? Then make sure to like it, subscribe to this channel for more amazing WordPress content. My name is Yuvraj, you're watching WBeginner, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.